0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Phixated Podcast. I am your host, just back from vacation, Mike Azzolina, joined by my good buddy who's getting ready to go on vacation in a couple weeks, Regsy Boo. Hi.
What's up, buddy? Good to see you back. I know we talk almost every day, so it's fine. It's not like we haven't spoken in a week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever it is, but I'm glad you had fun. Looked like you were having a good time.
Blast, man. I'm definitely peeling. I am peeling like a banshee. I don't think you can see it through the screen, but I am all kinds of peeling.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about this. You have to talk about the complaint you sent me about sunburn while you were on vacation.
You know, here's the problem. I have a lot of complaints, but the main complaint is I tend to get sunburn in the most random spots. And I do a really good, I actually think I have it right now. If you look at my eyes, like really closely, I was golfing today and it looks like I have sunburn just from my sunglasses. So that's cute. But ever since like college, there was a time where Josh, Phil, and I drove to Florida, and I had a strip of sunburn across my face. It looked like the Ultimate Warrior, kind of like it looks like today. But also, in addition to, as well, when we went on our honeymoon, I fell asleep with my arm like my arm like this, and had this sunburn like up here on my shoulder.
That's
and
fantastic.
Like in a V, and then down my abs. And so this time we're in the very hot sun of Cancun, and I was so diligent about putting on my sunscreen. So diligent, Regs. I mean, I put the SPF 50 on, and then I sprayed the SPF 30 on top of that. I was SPF 80 at times, right? The first day we go in, I shower, and I'm like, Andrea, just my abs are burned. Nothing else. It was just my abs. And I texted you livid.
Very upset.
Because it's day one, it's uncomfortable. I got to deal with it for 6 more days.
And I was ready to be sympathetic to you until you said, "Oh, it's just on my abs." And I said, "Oh, that's a cool flex, Azzy. Thanks, bud." Yeah, I hate it when my abs get burned up too. You know, hate it when that happens. It's just the worst.
But it was the truth. It wasn't like, I mean, I sent you the picture. You could see it was just that area, nowhere else.
I played my tiny violin for all you six-packers out there. Complaining about sunburning.
What?
Your flat stomach. Must be tough. Must be tough for you guys. Must be tough.
This is why you wanted me to say it.
Because I had to take you down a notch, because honestly, you deserved it.
But then it ended up evening out, and I burned everywhere. So it didn't matter. Good. And now I burned around I look like a raccoon, right?
You do. A little bit. It's all right.
It's fine.
Again, I was ready to be perfectly sympathetic to your struggle, because as a pasty white guy, I also struggle with sunburn if I don't apply diligently, but mine doesn't affect my abs because I don't have any of those. But, you know, it's fine.
You're right. I could have just said my stomach.
I'm sorry you were sunburned. I really am. I'm not sorry about how you described it to me. Or my reaction to the description.
I mean, this is great. This is great. You know what else? You know what else happened on this vacation? 2 things. I started the hair growing journey. We'll get to that in a moment. The other is like this resort had so many activities to do. We were this is gonna be something else. You're gonna be like, Azzy, shut up. I don't care. I don't feel badly for you. I'm not asking you to feel badly when I say this, but we were part of like what was considered the preferred club. Just you pay a little extra and you get like a couple extra restaurants that you can go to, and you get like a lounge you can go into. It's like super, like the air conditioning's cranked, and you get like pretty much private bartending. There's like 5 people in there at a time.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So like we would pretty much nightcap there. Like we do all the shows, the activities at night, dinner, and then we go and grab a nightcap. And we started like playing Scrabble like old like an old married couple to end the night. And the first night, Andrew whooped me pretty good. Like honestly, whooped me pretty good. The third night, I beat her. The second night we played, though, I was beating her by a lot. Like there was like 2 turns left each. I was up by like 85. I was feeling really good. And she threw down like a triple word score on something. And then it was her turn again. And the word that beat me, Regs, and I will never, ever, ever live this down, was John.
It's fantastic.
JAWN, the word of Philadelphia, the definition of Philadelphia. She beat me with the word John.
It's fantastic.
And I pretty much immediately texted you.
You did.
So I lost Scrabble with the word John.
You were not pleased with how
No,
that
and I was really drunk, so that made it even worse.
You definitely didn't let it go.
No, and I'm still mad about it. I'm okay losing, but you beat me with John.
It's pretty good. If I was her and I saw that was the word, I think I would have been pretty pumped.
She was very excited about it. She didn't stop
good.
talking about it. She talked about it all the way through breakfast the next morning. She was talking about it on the flight home.
Mm-hmm.
She talked about it tonight. She asked me if I was going to talk about it on the show. So kudos to you, Andrea. If you listen, you beat me with John.
Possibly the best word.
I mean, that is the best word to beat me with. If you're going to beat me with any word. Regs, you ready to see the hair?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So here's the first step of the hair growing journey. I look like a chia pet.
Yeah,
and you see,
that's all right.
Look at the gray. Look at the gray. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Silver fox. It's coming. I'm telling you, man. It's going to be. I'm going to be like Chase Utley.
It's going to be very interesting.
I'm gonna be like Chase Utley in here with the silver fox. So I think we're probably 2 more weeks from it being where it can be styled. So, but it is coming in. It's coming.
This
in
sounds
hot.
like the worst possible time to try and grow your hair with it being this hot out.
Yeah, it's not great. It wasn't a great idea. No one said I was smart.
Yeah, that's fair.
No one said that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the eyes. Look at the raccoon eyes I got going on. No one said I was smart. Wore sunglasses the entire round today. Played with listener of the show, Randy. He wore his Phixated polo to play.
Love that.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah, of course it did.
It looked great.
Good stuff.
And look, he played a really good back 9.
All right. That boy, Randy.
The putting got a lot better. It was a struggle to start for him, but he really came around on the back 9.
Love it.
I ended up with an 89 today, Regs.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
That a boy.
Banksy's tip has really helped me. That he gave me. I can't wait to tell him. He's going to be so happy about it.
I love it.
Yeah, so we'll experience that a little on Saturday. We'll talk about that later in the show.
That's right.
Great opening, bud.
We had a lot to get to.
There was a lot to do there. There's a lot to do there. While I was on vacation, though, Sixers World just went nuts. Like, out of control. Sixers World went out of control. I just got a message from somebody. It looks like uh-oh. What happened? No, he's not. Is he?
What?
Is Dame going to Utah?
There's no way.
Maybe I'm misinterpreting the text.
I see nothing.
Okay. All right. Someone sent me a text of him in a Jazz jersey. And he tweeted something earlier like, I can't believe it, or unbelievable or something. All right, so I don't see anything, so okay, I feel better now. That threw me. But so he demanded a trade, which immediately led to everybody like, do it, right? James Harden came out and said that he wanted to be dealt. So that happened.
Well, he opted in to his player option, which a lot of people thought he would not, in order to sign some sort of long-term deal. Long-term meaning 4 years.
Right. But it sounded like he did it as a request to be traded.
Yes.
But now it doesn't look like that's a foregone conclusion.
Because I don't know what you want to get into first. So let me hold off on
all right. Let me do this.
going to jump into.
let me do this. Let me do with what they did do, because free agency has been going. Obviously, they didn't bring back some of the pieces that that got them, like George Niang's gone, and that's okay. And who else left that I'm drawing a blank on right now? The guy they traded for. What's that?
It was what's his name?
Well, Shake's gone.
Yeah, Shake's gone.
Shake's gone. But the guy they traded Matisse for, is gone too. He didn't play a whole lot down the stretch.
Oh yeah.
I'm drawing a blank. It'll
Anderson something.
Yeah, it'll come to me. It's Mick something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it'll come to us.
I'll find it.
You'll find it. But so they're both gone. They signed Patrick Beverly, which has been rumored to happen for like the last 2 to 3 years. Like every year, it's like, oh, they're going to bring Pat Beverly in. And then Mo Bamba they signed, which I think is insurance for like Paul Reed at this point, just in case Reed doesn't come back. Bamba would be, and he and Joel are very close. So I wonder if that's even partially a Joel move. So some minor stuff, nothing crazy. Beverly on like a $3 million deal is not terrible.
Jalen McDaniels is who it was.
That's who I was trying to. Thank you so much, McDaniels. But he's gone too. So they really have to rebuild their bench. If Reed comes back, they have Bamba, Beverly, they have Reed. They'll have keep everybody. They'll have D'Anthony Melton, but that's as long as they keep everybody, right?
Yeah.
So, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks here. Now, with let's talk about the Dame stuff first, because obviously when that news dropped, every fan was out here tweeting that's who they, go get him, go get him, go get him. We all know that for them to get Dame, Tyrese has to go.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt about that. Tyrese has to go. But they came out and said, like, there's been talk that he's not going anywhere. He's not going to go for anybody. Plain and simple. End of story, period.
I mean, there was reports today that his agents are calling other teams to say, don't bother, because you'll be getting an unhappy star. Unless it's Miami. It's the only place.
Oh, yeah, you're talking. Yeah. You're talking about Dame. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the problem with the NBA. Like, these guys dictate too much of what happens because they cherry pick. And someone said, I think it was Randy who said to me today, I don't think I want him because he's not going to want to play here. I don't know if Philly's a place he'd go and say, I don't want to play here. You get to play with Joel Embiid. But if he has his mind made up and he wants to play in Miami, then sure, send him there. Like, if I'm Daryl Morey, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But
I think the thing is the Blazers aren't just jumping for any Miami offer, because really they're not the ones who could offer the most stuff for them to rebuild.
They have nothing.
Exactly.
They have nothing to offer. Nothing.
So it seemed like the Blazers GM kind of came out and said, look, we're trying to do right by him, but we're not going to just take a trash deal just to take it.
We can't. They can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
Now, Wendy was on, I don't know if it was First Take. He was on something today and said that he feels like Daryl Morey has something up his sleeve. He doesn't know what it is, but he's led to believe that Morey has something up his sleeve.
So, yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like, this is what I wanted.
I wasn't really going
This is what I wanted to talk about up front.
Okay.
He better.
He has to.
Because we've missed the boat on any good potential free agent, restricted or otherwise.
There's nothing left.
There's nothing left. We've missed the boat on everyone.
We are running it back.
And like, I'm not a basketball GM. I don't know what's out there. Maybe he is cooking something up. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he just has to say that because that's what he has to do to save his job.
It's exactly what I was going to say to you.
But are we going to be a better team bringing back James Harden, who now doesn't want to be here and clearly had sort of gotten over the whole I need to be leading the league in assists James Harden and not just scoring James Harden? Like, he clearly reverted back to that throughout the season. Doc said it on the Bill Simmons podcast that's basically what happened. James was kind of all in at the beginning of the season and during that run they went on. And then he decided, like, yeah, I'm good with that now. I'm going to go back to playing how I want to play. Like, it's what he said. It's what Doc Rivers said in public.
Yeah. Oh, I saw. Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
And so why do I want that guy back?
Yeah.
Like, I know, listen, Daryl is like, has this reputation of I win all my trades and transactions because I'm smarter than the guy I'm talking to. Well, dude, like, you're kind of just in the hole. And maybe this first transaction doesn't get you all the way out of the hole and like 100 yards away from the hole. Maybe you just have to like start to climb out of it to get this guy away from you and get this guy away from your superstar. Because we talked about this in our sort of season end Sixers pod. Like, James Harden infected Joel Embiid. I don't care what anybody else wants to tell me. He won the MVP, all this stuff. That's great. In the biggest moments, Joel Embiid turned into his version of James Harden. He shrunk away from the moment. He didn't play like an MVP, like a superstar. He didn't. He just didn't. I get it. Maybe he was a little bit hurt. Fine. He still didn't play like the MVP, like a superstar.
Yeah.
And that sort of attitude isn't helped by a guy like James Harden. I'm not saying it's all James Harden's fault. I think there's a significant portion of this on Embiid, and he needs to like look at himself and decide if like really winning is a goal of his or if it was just to get the MVP. So like I think a lot of that is on Joel Embiid, but I certainly don't think having James Harden around helped. And if you're going to bring that guy back after he opted in with the intention of being like, all right, I'm opting in to get my money because you guys aren't going to give me this long-term deal. Get me out of here. Why bring that guy back into a culture that you're trying to reset, that you have a chance to reset with a new coach and like new guys in the locker room? Like, you have a chance to really reset this culture away from like that process culture where we're going to just do whatever our high draft picks say. We're going to just cater to them because we're going to be losing. So we have to be able to keep them around. We have to be able to keep them happy by any means necessary. Like, you have to turn this into a winning culture now. And I continue to stick to my point. Having James Harden on a team like that doesn't help you get there.
Yeah, I know where I stood, 3-4 weeks ago, and I'm not too far removed from that at this point, only because I don't know what else is there. So unless he can pull some rabbit out of a hat, they're going to be going into the year with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, and I'm struggling horribly with this idea of we're going to waste the year of Joe. Now, if he's able to bring Zach LaVine here, I can probably get by and feel okay, because I think unloading Toby, unloading Harden, it leaves, there's a lot of money on the table for you next year. And then LaVine, Maxey, and Embiid that's a pretty good 4 or 3. Sorry. It's a pretty good 3. Is it a 3 that's going to win you a title? Maybe not. But when next year rolls around, you add that other guy, and maybe then you're there. The Celtics got worse this week. Trading Marcus Smart and Grant Williams is now gone. They got worse. And truly,
I think adding KP was pretty good.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah, yes.
I think they're
100%.
Probably at neutral.
Maybe a little less than neutral. I think Marcus Smart was really important, like really important to them. Really important.
Yeah, from a defensive standpoint, yes. Their defense did drop off significantly, and he was one of the guys who really would fight the hardest on that. But it's a different debate for a different day.
Yeah, absolutely different day. I'm really struggling with like. I agree with what you said at the start of this, which is he has to have something up his sleeve. He has to. He doesn't have a choice but to. That's not GM speak.
Or else he's absolutely fumbled it.
Yeah,
like
the off season is gone.
a disaster.
But I don't know, like, is George Yang a huge part of your offseason? Is McDaniels a huge part of your offseason? Like, no. The offseason is you got to bring in another guy or two that's going to, like PJ Tucker started to change the culture. Pat Beverly will continue to those dudes play hard. They are dogs. So you got to go get a dog who can score the basketball. Like a dog who's going to make Embiid better. And I don't know how you do that.
I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't know where it's coming from. I do feel like one of the trades, whether it's a 3-team deal or if it's Toby and James separately, we're going to get a crumble cookie back according to Toby. But one of those or the combination of the two will probably bring back some role players to fill out the roster. I feel like that's a
Yeah, I almost think that's the priority.
They have to fill out the roster.
I'm not worried about bringing back a superstar at this point because I don't think James Harden is a big enough asset to anyone outside of teams that are just looking. He's essentially an expiring contract. His deal is done after this year.
Right.
I
agree 100%.
If you treat it that way, you're dealing with teams that are on the lower end of the NBA spectrum. They're not going to give you their top prospects. And you have to figure out a way to try and fill out the bench to hopefully be at a point to sign someone going into next year.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I don't know what's out there that's going to bring back a true third star for this team.
The only other thing to caution before we move on is if you trade Harden and you don't bring back something of value that's going to add to this team's chances, it's going to tick off Joe. And whether there's a plan in place or not, he's not going to be happy.
I think at that point Daryl's out.
Maybe
he might stick around the whole season, but I don't think he'll be back.
Yeah, then at that point, then you just trade Joe. I don't know. I just don't know that they can redo this whole thing. It's a retool. It's not you can't rebuild. Joe has 2 to 3 years left. He doesn't have time. So, at least in my head, watching him play, he's going to be 30.
Yeah. Listen, if this all ends up by some combination of stuff, like bringing back Paul George, like we had heard that the Clippers were really interested in Harden.
I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah. That's A1 scenario.
A1 and A1B.
Yeah. Because I think Paul George is that guy. When he's healthy,
he is that guy. Yeah.
Paul George has the right mentality, is not a super selfish guy who is just looking to score all the time. He still plays hard on defense. He just has to be healthy. He just hasn't been healthy for a long time. But that's the type of guy that with Joel and with Maxey could help you win. And is not afraid in the last minute of games to try and take over.
Yeah. And he automatically makes them better on both ends of the floor. He makes Joel better.
Yeah.
And defensively, he's the best defender they've had in years. I mean, he's got to have a plan.
And his size is desperately needed.
Yeah. And athleticism, all of it. I mean, Wendy's rumor has to be true. It has to.
Yeah, it has
He's got to have something up his sleeve or else
this,
we are in for it, dude. We are in for a long year. Long year. Long years, baseball, long season. Good thing it's a long season because in May we were 1 foot out the door. And once again, I just wish the Phillies could skip. I wish we could sim April and May and just get June. Because this team, when the calendar turns to June and heads into July, they just turned into a different baseball club. And boy, oh boy, are they playing some really good baseball right now. 12 road wins consecutive wins. I mean, Regs, that just doesn't happen in Major League Baseball. You don't go on the road and win 12 straight. That's insane.
Yeah.
Especially the places they've gone and done it.
Yeah. I'm just looking at from the start. We're going to say June 1st. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 losses.
I mean, it's unbelievable that they've only lost 9 games and they've lost games in the standings.
Well, the Atlanta's lost what, 5?
Yeah, and they played Atlanta and lost twice. So I mean, but let's just all right. So their winning streak on the road started with Arizona.
Arizona, yep.
They won 3 in Arizona, 3 in Oakland, 3 in Chicago, 3 in Tampa Bay. Again, 3 in Arizona was alone. We were fired up. 3 in Oakland, we expected they should have. Chicago gave them
hit or
fits at the
miss.
beginning of the
Yeah.
year. And that's not an easy place to go and win baseball games. Just the elements there are wild. Then they go to Tampa. Tampa had lost 10 home games this year. They have not been swept. They've only lost 2 series at home.
Yep.
That's it. Us, and I feel like the other one was Baltimore. Could be wrong on that. Might have been somebody else. Oh, Houston. It was Houston.
Yeah.
They have not been swept all year by anybody. The Phillies waltz into their stadium, give them a quarter of their losses at home,
and sound like they have more fans in the stadium than Tampa Bay.
They were at least 50% in Philadelphia. But like each game, I will say this, Regs, this series was October baseball. Not the crowds.
Yeah.
The crowds were not October. But the baseball being played was October baseball. It was 2 really good teams playing each other. Also, something to note about this run that they are on. Bryce Harper is not hitting for power at all. He's barely hitting right now. He's like 265 during the stretch that he's struggling through right now.
Yeah.
And they're like 22 and 11.
Yeah. And look, like Bohm had his little time at the beginning of this month being really down.
He's turned it around.
Stott was a little bit off. Marsh is still kind of up and down.
And that's who he's going to be.
Right. But we're not expecting Brandon. Like, he has to shore up his defense because otherwise I'd rather put Pache out there just to if you're going to be missing fly balls.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to play.
Which is what cost them the Washington series.
Right. But you're just
otherwise
you're just not going to play.
Yeah.
Like, you got plenty of chances here, man. Just do what you got to do defensively, and everyone will be happy. Like, you're the 9 hitter. It's not a big deal for you to be up and down.
If they would have won that game against Washington, they would have lost 1 series all month.
Yeah.
And that would have been the Atlanta series.
Mm-hmm. Which is expected because Atlanta's the best team in baseball.
And technically the Washington series bleeds into July, so it's not even a June series, essentially.
But still.
So, my point remains. They do, they have to go to Miami next. And if you go and beat Tampa Bay, if you sweep Tampa Bay at home, you best be going into Miami winning 2 or 3. Tampa is much better than Miami.
Well, look, they're probably set up with their best pitching matchups.
I haven't looked at the matchups.
Wheeler Alcantara.
He has not been
tomorrow
great.
night.
He
really
hasn't been great.
Then you got Ranger Garrett on Saturday, and then Nola Luzardo on Sunday. So if you wanted 3 pitchers,
this is right.
To go into Miami, you got your 1, 2, and 3 going. Like, this is how it is.
And you can come out of the break with these same guys.
Yeah.
You can come out of the break with the same 3. I know you got a double header, so go bullpen game. But you can come out of break lining them up against San Diego at home.
So I think you just have to win the series here.
Yeah, you got to win the series. I mean, obviously we want what we want. I don't think we expected it in Tampa.
No, absolutely not.
We had talked about 3-3, but now I'm getting greedy. I want 5-1, man, because you can dig into this. You can dig into Miami's leading.
I absolutely think they're on a good enough run to take 2 out of 3 in Miami.
With the pitching that they're getting right now, absolutely.
Yeah, we need Wheeler to kind of get back to himself. Like, the thing is, Wheeler and Suarez are arguably coming off rocky-ish starts.
Yeah, Rangers' start was one play.
Compared to 2 walks into. He also walked 2 guys,
but it was after.
I
that,
get it.
After
I get it, but
and you get shaken up like that's.
I get it. I get it.
And he doesn't usually get shaken.
No, he doesn't. But look, Wheeler was coming off just like having okay stuff. Ranger, I think Ranger will go into this game mad. Ranger doesn't like pitching like that and giving up that kind of loss.
Here's the other thing about Wheeler. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
I want to throw this out there. If you look at Wheeler's periphery numbers, like the peripherals that he's put up this year, the ERA is high, but it is a whole lot of like bad luck and soft contact
and really soft contact. Yeah.
And he was asked about that. And he's like, I don't care. Runs a run. Like I'm an old school guy. ERA is what matters to me. But some of that luck turns around. It's nature. It's baseball. And honestly, if I'm gonna have Zach Wheeler, like Zach Wheeler, second half Zach Wheeler, I'll take it. If this the pitching that they have gotten
has been unbelievable.
I mean, even last night, like credit Taijuan Walker, man. Like, dude really struggled out the gate.
Yeah.
Like struggled out the gate. What ended up going 7, Regs?
Yeah. Like really just kind of hung in there without his best stuff.
Battle his ass off
to keep them in the game.
And that's a good lineup.
It's a really good lineup.
Like, that's a really talented lineup.
Yeah. I agree with you. Listen, starters aren't going to be perfect, man. And Taijuan Walker is like a 4th starter. So your 4th starter isn't going to be perfect. He's been pitching his butt off this month. Like, he's been going crazy. 6 innings of like 1 or 0 run baseball is unbelievable to get from your 4th starter throughout a whole month. Like, it's crazy. And you go up against arguably the 2nd best lineup in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And you give it like 4 runs is not a lot in today's baseball. Like, it's not the same as it was like a long time ago. Yeah. It's not the same. Like, to battle through 7 with 4 runs, and all you do there, and I think he didn't give up a hit after the 3rd inning.
No, he was unreal last night.
Like, that's crazy.
He really settled himself in, and you know, while we hat tip him, we have to hat tip Nola.
Yeah.
I mean, that was vintage Aaron Nola.
Yeah.
That was the guy I'd pay $200 million for.
Right. If he did that all the time. Exactly.
And who knows? Maybe he will now.
Yeah.
Maybe he will now. Maybe he got off to the slow start, which isn't like him. He usually doesn't get off to slow starts. Mm-hmm. But if this is the pitching that they're going to get, and I even think back to like last night's game, and put aside the pitching, but it was like, go down a run, tie it, go down a run, tie it, go down a run, tie it, again, tie it, and then just absolutely blast off in like the 7th or 8th inning. I mean, look, wins aren't I hate the win stat for pitchers, but that's one last night that Taijuan Walker earned.
Yeah.
Like, that's a win that I'd be like, if they did wins the way I think they should, which is subjectively, say this is the pitcher who deserves it, not the pitcher who happened to get the last out before they scored a run.
Mm-hmm.
I would have looked at last night's game and been like, I don't care they give up 4 runs. He had to really fight his ass off to I mean, a month ago, Rags, he's not even still in the game.
Oh, yeah, he's gone in the 5th.
Like, he's earned Topper's trust.
Mm-hmm.
And he should.
Yeah.
He absolutely should have his trust.
And I think Topper's figured out that he can give these guys a leash. He can let him go back out. He let Walker go back out for the 7th. Yeah. And look, he got 1 out. A couple runners got on. He took them out, and the bullpen came in and did their job. Like, but you can allow a guy who's only at 90 pitches to go and try and get himself 1 more inning. Like, it's okay. You have the guys in the bullpen now to have that kind of wiggle room.
Dude, the bullpen right now,
Yeah,
though. Like,
the
let's
bullpen's
go.
been-
Let's go there real quickly before we jump back to a starter, because I do want to acknowledge the bull. I feel like I have to. Tonight, like even just tonight, what the bullpen did was unreal. So Christopher Sanchez, who we're going to come back to, goes 7.
again.
They go
like,
to.
just think about that.
We're going.
I
there.
know.
Don't
I know,
worry.
I got excited.
We are absolutely going there because holy shit with him right now. I usually don't curse on this
I
show,
know.
but holy shit with this guy. So Sanchez, he went 6. I'm sorry, he didn't go 7.
But still.
Yeah. Marte comes in, does a really nice job. Again, I get it with Junior Marte. But if he's your 6th inning guy, it's fine.
Yeah.
It is fine. It is fine. Alvarado, struggled a little bit, struck out the first 2 guys, walked the next 2, had an absolute battle with Diaz.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, a battle.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, but he won it.
That's right.
And look, he hasn't been great since he came back off the IL. I don't know if he rushed back or what. He hasn't been the same pitcher, but he's still been dominant.
Yeah.
And he really has. I mean, he's walking more guys, but hopefully the All-Star break, a little extra rest for him will be good. I don't even know what to say about Craig Kimbrell.
Well,
at this point,
your reliever of the month.
What do you say?
I don't know. It's been crazy. I don't know what's happening.
What do you say?
That fastball just has so much life to it.
It's unbelievable. It like jumps when it gets to the cutout.
Yeah.
When it gets to the cutout, it just jumps.
Yeah.
And when he's throwing that like sweeping breaking ball on top of his slider,
it's crazy.
Come on, man. He threw the nastiest slider to Lau the other night on 4th of July.
Yeah.
That it corkscrewed him.
Yeah.
It corkscrewed him. It's a major league hitter.
Yeah.
Like, it's just nasty right now. And then, I mean, Matt Strom, what a job he did. Like, coming in the 10th and the 11th and not allowing one guy to cross home plate.
Yeah. Is crazy.
In today's game, it's almost not even like real.
Yeah.
It's almost not real, Regs. It's not something that happens. Usually, like, yes,
someone's scoring with a guy on second automatically.
And I got to tell you, like, I totally drew a blank. I texted someone and I was like, the 11th's got to be Sir Anthony, right? I totally forgot he was hurt.
Yep.
I totally forgot he was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and good thing his injury actually comes at a pretty good time.
Well, yeah.
Because you get to the All-Star break, and
right.
Obviously, there's never a good time for an ab in.
Yeah.
For a week, but if there is a good time, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. All right, so let's jump back to Chris Sanchez here for a second. So, what I heard his last start, and maybe we talked about this on the last show. So if I did, forgive me. It's a good reminder though. They basically just told him, your stuff, just throw strikes.
Yeah.
Like, your stuff is good.
This was Alex's article.
You just have to put the ball in the zone. You like, his problem has always been walks. I read where's the tweet that I just read? It was Corey Seidman's tweet. It was a really good tweet. About his walks. Give me a second. I'm pulling it up right now. Corey Seidman tweeted tonight, Christopher Sanchez has walked 99 batters in 181 and a third innings in his AAA career. 99 in 181 innings. That's 1 every 2 innings. Like, you can't be walking dudes at that rate.
Right.
Can't be. In 4 starts with the Phillies, since being called back up, he's walked 2 batters in 19 innings. The Rays have just 2 hits off of him in 4 scoreless innings, both opposite field ground balls. I don't know if that number changed after the 4th. I'd have to look back at his box score tonight. Let me just pull that up real quickly while
I can do it. You keep talking.
I got it. No, he didn't walk anybody tonight. Regs, like, this to me is a really good sign for Phillies player development stuff. Because this dude was a fringe, like, 5-6 starter. And I still think that's probably the best he is. We're going to see some sort of drop off at some point.
Yeah. It's gonna happen.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe
well, that's
not,
true. We don't know. Maybe he's figured something out.
Ranger Suarez wasn't anybody either, right? And he's become one of the better pitchers in baseball. When you look at everything he's done, he's become a very dependable left-handed arm.
Yeah.
And right now, Chris Sanchez looks like that. I mean, he's chopped up some good lineups. Like he's not going out there against the A's every week.
Yeah.
That was his first start, and we were like, oh, okay, well,
right.
It's the A's. Since then, he has started games against the Mets. I think he won the only Washington. No, it was Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler.
He lost the first game.
He shouldn't have.
No, he shouldn't have. They didn't score. What did he give up? One run or
two runs? Two runs in 6 innings.
He was great that night.
Yep.
He was great. He was phenomenal. And they didn't score for him.
And then on the road against the second best team in baseball.
Against the Rays. Now, so the A's wasn't his first start. Was it LA? Couldn't it? No, Oakland was.
Yeah, it was Oakland. Yeah.
So the Mets was his other start. Sorry, yeah, and he won that game.
Right.
Yeah, and so the Mets have a good lineup.
Yep.
Washington has some dudes. Like they're not great, but they're better than the A's.
But again, it's about expectations. He's your 5th starter.
But he's not even it's just dominant. Like he's just dominating guys.
And then to come out and do that against this team, it's like if you were going to expect anything to be different, it's like, okay, it's Christopher Sanchez against the Rays. Like
we've won. I had this as a loss.
We've won 2 games. It's fine. If he gives up 6 or 7, like it is what it is. You were going to be fine with it.
And don't forget, this was without JT behind the plate.
Yeah, but it's like that. You were going to be fine with it because it's like, look, we went in, we did our job in a place that nobody wins.
Yeah.
And it was with our 5th starter on the, like, again, you're going to lose 1 game to the Rays with your 5th starter on the mound. It's like, no big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal.
And so he won't pitch again until Milwaukee, likely, because that doubleheader, they're absolutely going to use a bullpen game. They're not going to waste him in a doubleheader. Even with an off day, it would be dumb to waste him. I totally envision them going with Strahm in that second doubleheader game. They'll, probably line up Nola for the first one. And then go with Strahm for 3 innings. And
it's just been an unbelievable job.
He's been great. He's been great. He really has. And it's a breath of fresh air because we talked about it on this show without the 5th starter situation, this team would probably be about 5-6 games out of first place.
It's very similar to Bailey Falter last year. Bailey Falter came out and was good enough to remain the 5th starter for a long time because he was just doing his job for long enough. He might have given up 3 runs here, 4 runs here, 2 runs here. And it's like, with this offense, like that shouldn't be a problem, man. Like that's fine. Yeah. Like you did your job. You can go 6 innings and give up less than 4 runs or even 4 runs. You've done your job as a 5th starter. Like you've done your job.
Yeah.
Especially with an offense that looks like this one does. And I think we have to get into the offense a little bit, but Chris Sanchez has been for his past couple starts, everything that this team needed to keep this run going.
I think, and we're going to jump into the offense here, but I think while Schwarber and Turner's hits in the 11th, both huge knocks, they're going to get a lot of the attention. But 6 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, no walks.
Yeah.
Again, no walks.
Huge.
Two strikeouts, pitching to contact, drops his ERA down to 2.84. It's just, for me at this point, you've got a couple weeks till the deadline. Again, I'm considering the 5th starter problem solved.
Yeah, especially Painter pitched the bullpen. See everything, knock on wood, seemed to be fine.
I'm considering it solved.
Yeah.
I'm going on from this point and saying if Painter finds his way up and you go with a 6-man rotation bullets, right?
Yep.
I need the bat.
Yeah.
I need the bat. I either need somebody to stick out in left field or I need a first baseman if Bryce isn't going to be able to play first base. And I know Derek Hall's been okay since he's gotten back up.
Yeah, he's
But
just,
we
I don't know
we
if okay is the right word, but
we need another right-handed bat in this lineup.
yeah.
I'm still leaning Lane Thomas.
He looked pretty good.
Dude, he's so good.
He is
he's
really
so
good.
Good.
Yeah.
He fits this lineup. He's exactly.
And he's
what
young and he wouldn't be expensive.
27 years old.
Like, that's what I mean.
He's exactly what this team needs, Regs. Exactly what it needs. And let's talk about why. Because while the offense is getting some timely hitting, it still needs like one little like tick.
All right, let's just, I want to get into a few of these things.
Well, I know next week we're going to do the grades because it's the All-Star. So we're going to grade everybody next week.
Okay. So
but for now we can talk about the
let's just focus on a few things. We'll talk about the two guys that you just brought up because I think they're the easiest things to we'll chop that off the list right away. Kyle Schwarber. We're seeing what happens to an older player who should just be a DH and should be sitting his ass down during defensive halves of the inning. He's tired. He just doesn't have enough in the tank.
No, I love him so much.
I know. Me too. But like 184, 189, excuse me.
Now, hold on though. Remember, he was down to like 160.
Again, I understand it's all relative.
It's just really hard to climb back up at this point in the year. So the fact that he's almost at 190.
189.
190.
Anyway.
It's
right,
one hit tomorrow and he's hitting 190.
Fine.
It's glorious about being
I just
down
think
in that
it's
area.
very
1 for 4
obvious.
and you raise your average.
Yeah, it's very obvious Kyle Schwarber is a DH at this point in his career.
He
needs
but
to
he's
get
a
off
leadoff
the field.
DH.
He needs to get off the field. I don't care where he's hitting. He needs to get off the field.
They don't lose with him leading off. Period. They do.
And just
not
think
lose
about
with
if he wasn't so damn tired all the time.
I know. I'm saying. All right. So
I want to get I need to get your take on Trey Turner because we saw these articles. Oh, they found this little thing in his swing. He's back to doing the leg kick in the with less than 2 strikes to try and get some of the power back. Like, my question to you is: are we just dealing with another Nick Castellanos from last year?
Absolutely. Actually, I think he's been better than Castellanos.
I agree with you, but we're talking about to the certain players' standards.
Yeah. Oh,
which I understand. Yeah. Trey Turner's standards are very high.
Yeah,
I get that. But he also signed for $300 million, and Nick signed for a third of that much.
Right. Well, what I'm trying to do is find his splits by month because I want to see what his numbers were this month entirely. I don't think I was that tuned in. I know it was better this month. He was much better much better. It's not going to show in the numbers because he's not hitting over, he's still hitting like 260. But I felt like watching him was different. Fangraphs is really giving me my phone.
What do you want?
So
June?
I want his June. Yeah. I want his June numbers.
I got you.
All right.
So 279.
Okay.
10 walks, 14 RBIs, 24 strikeouts.
That's about right.
29 hits, 19 runs.
Okay.
3 home runs.
What's his OBP?
His OBP 353.
Yeah, we would take that.
Right? He's getting on the highest of any month.
Yeah. So obviously we're ticking up, right? It's still not Trey Turner. Like 279 is not Trey Turner.
Yeah,
but
like
Trey
look,
Turner,
the last 15 days. Let's just look at that.
Okay.
16 strikeouts, only 4 walks.
Yeah, 1 for every 4. That's not good.
Yeah, 13 hits in 48 at bats, hitting 271.
Right. It's right. So
it just like it's such a Castellanos comparison because it doesn't look like he knows what a breaking ball is. He's swinging at stuff that isn't a strike right out of the pitcher's hand. And it looks exactly like Castellanos last year, who swung at every slider that was down and away. So how does this happen? Like, what's going on?
I want you to do me a favor.
Okay.
While I'm talking, look up Bryce Harper's 2019 numbers. Okay.
Yep.
There is something about signing in a city for big money in history, not just in Phillies history, but I was talking to a Yankee fan the other day, and they mentioned a couple of guys who really struggled first year coming over to New York. And you'll find that when guys sign for big money and they have a huge transition, they're just not the same player. You know, you're going to look at Bryce's numbers and you're going to say, oh, well, some of them are about right. But Trey's the same way. Some of his numbers are about right. They're about his career average. Some are not. And I think Bryce hit like 260 that year.
I have it for you if you'd like me to. You got
Please
that
say.
number right on the dot, by the way.
Yeah, 260.
260
homers
with 178 strikeouts, the most of his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Home runs. I mean, he had 114 RBIs. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was good.
Home runs. Here we go. 35.
Okay.
Which was one more than the previous year.
Yeah.
But strikeouts way up. Average
down.
Average. Well, 2018 he only hit 249, but that looks like
I think he was hurt that
somewhat
year,
shortened.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He it wasn't Bryce. I mean, he was still great because Bryce is generational. Like Trey's not generational. Trey's really good, but he's not generational. Nick isn't generational.
No.
Like those guys aren't generational. They're really good ball players. We're seeing that with Nick this year. Nick is a tremendous hitter.
He is. I can't talk enough about that guy. Like
he's a tremendous hitter.
Good
and
Lord.
So is Trey. So is Trey. And that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes this is just the way it goes. Now, I do feel as though Trey has been better than what Nick was last year. I feel like Nick had moments where he was really good last year.
He did.
I feel like Trey, like yesterday, Trey hit that big home run. It was a huge hit. Had another huge hit tonight. In 2 games against the best team in baseball.
To go 1
at
for
least in the
4,
American
though.
League.
1 for 5.
I don't care. I don't care. As long as the one matters, I don't care.
That's fair.
It's like what I used to say about Ryan Howard. I don't care if he struck out.
It's a tough argument for me when he hit like essentially the game-winning hit. That's a fair point. I got you.
Like if it's one hit when you're down 7 and you came up with the bases loaded twice and didn't get a hit, then I'm pissed.
Yeah.
But if you're getting the hit that puts you up 2 in extra innings, I'm fine. I don't care what you do the rest of the night.
Like Marsh's hit to finally score those runs the other night.
Last night, yeah, he was terrible all night.
Yeah.
And he comes up and he gets a big hit. And that's great. So I erase the rest of the night. I do. I like baseball's a really hard game. And Trey Turner's really good at it. I'm not that concerned about Trey. I do think he's always struggled in the postseason. Like he's always been a really good like regular season player and then been really bad in the postseason. Always. My hope is that he reverses that course this year and struggles all regular season and then all of a sudden goes on an absolute torrid tear when the postseason rolls around. Because if he and Bryce get going at the same time, nobody, I don't care who you are, I don't care who your offense is.
Especially if Nick keeps hitting like this and
which he's going, he's so locked in.
Yeah.
That's not changing.
Yeah.
That's not changing.
That ball he hit to center field was so far. Oh my God.
In, man. He's like, it's effortless. It's
Yeah.
effortless. While we're talking about, like, we've talked about Nick so much and how good he's been. A couple of guys I want to touch on real quickly before we end the show. Bryson Stott.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to extend him this offseason. Like, you got to do the Braves thing and give this guy money now. It's because he's going to win a batting title. He's absolutely winning a batting title. At some point, Reyes
I was about to say, if he ever comes back to Earth.
it's not going to be this year, but at some point, that dude's not hitting 400, he'll get hurt, something like that. The Marlins will trade him back to the American League because they do.
Yeah.
But at some point, Bryson Stott's going to win one. He's such a good hitter. he is such a calm presence in the box.
Yeah.
Everything's still.
Yeah. What does he lead?
And
All of Major League Baseball in 2 strike hits?
He does not care if he's got 2 strikes on him.
Mm-hmm.
Just does not care. The dude puts the ball in play so consistently. The other thing to consider with him, and I read this today, they changed his swing. His launch angle is entirely.
Yeah.
He had
I
an
saw this.
uppercut.
Yep.
That they changed because he wasn't able to get the balls up in the zone.
Right.
So that's what they worked on all off season.
Mm-hmm.
And it is such a difference. He's hitting like 300 on balls up in the zone this year.
Yeah. And then the other thing that came out in that article was that, I think Gelb had this and someone else had it. It was two different places. But that, like, he realized he was rolling a lot of things over to the second baseman. And he's like, what happened? I used to hit it everywhere. I didn't care. I didn't care where it went, just as long as it was a hit. So he's gotten back to that mentality, which is what I think Marsh has to get back to.
Yeah, and again with Marsh, I think we were fool's gold at the beginning of the year.
And JT, like JT,
that's what I wanted to talk about.
Okay,
that's what I wanted to tell you. He's the other guy. For me, Marsh was a little bit of fool. Like, I was really excited about him, and I still think he's a pretty good hitter. I do think there's a good hitter.
I think he can continue to get better when he realizes that, like, outside pitches should go that way.
Yeah, like, and it's a habit. He gets into these little funks where that's not happening, and then he breaks out of them. But that's the type of guy he's going to be throughout his career.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the consistency.
Right.
Doesn't have the consistency of a Harper.
Yeah,
that's not in him, and that's why he's going to hit 9th.
Right.
Like it's kind of like Chooch. When Chooch was going really well, he was awesome.
Right.
But when Chooch was rolling over on pitches, it was like weeks.
Oh yeah,
it was weeks that he would do that. JT, I have to laugh.
It's ridiculous.
I'm talking to myself last night. Andrea's there. She's listening, kind of, not really, like, the whole thing. But this is what happened last year with JT. JT was awful for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then the All-Star break hit, and JT was like you couldn't get him out. I
need to see it again because
me too. No, me too.
Yeah.
But last night looked like JT.
I get that, but I'm just I
He
literally
for a cycle like 3 weeks ago.
I know. I had this like an entire conversation to myself in my head about like the state of baseball. Why to hitters like JT or Marsh, like guys that aren't Bryce Harpers, I'll even put Trey Turner in this. Why does everyone try to get out of it by saying, I'm just going to pull the ball?
I don't think it's getting out of it. I think that's the funk you're in.
But it's also that you can make a conscious effort to try. Like I understand what you're saying, that sometimes it just like it's the funk you're in. I agree with you.
It's such a mental thing.
I know, but like, I understand that, but you and I have watched enough baseball or played enough baseball in our lives to know when it's like when you're going into these at bats, not thinking that opposite side of the field is a place to go. Like, this is and I'm not just talking about the Phillies. It's almost like a universal thing that's happened in Major League Baseball. The sentiment has looked like to get your swing back, you have to start pulling everything and hitting it as hard as possible. And I think I was thinking about it because I've been throwing to my oldest son a lot. Like, we've been going out and playing, and I'm trying to get my middle son. He's trying out for travel now. So like, he's got to learn to hit balls, right, from pitchers, and he hasn't done that before. And I'm trying to teach them, like, balls on the outside corner, go the other way. Like, that's when you hit them the hardest. That's how you put those balls in play the best. Even if it's a hard ground ball to the first baseman, like, that was better than rolling over to the third baseman or the shortstop. And again, I'm not just calling out the Phillies here, but it seems like this universal thing ever since the launch angle stuff and like the exit velocity stuff came around. I know I sound like an old man here, but it's just one of those things that popped into my head. It's like, why can't we get out of the slump by trying to hit bloopers to the opposite field? Like, why can't you just think that every pitch that's on the outside corner is going that way? And even if, like, even if you can tell when a guy is rolling over on something when they tried to hit it the opposite way, and you can tell when they're just trying to absolutely pull every pitch that they see. Like, you can tell. I know you can. I know you've watched enough baseball and understand this enough that you see it too. But
Yeah,
I just, when these guys get like this, I don't get why the mentality, or someone isn't telling them. Like, these guys have so much film and so much know-how about what's going on with their swing. Why isn't anyone telling them? Like, dude, I just watched your last 7 at bats and you rolled over on 5 outside pitches, like to the pull side. Like, you gotta do something else, man. Like, you gotta just keep your hands back and like try and go the other way. Like, can you do something? Can you just try?
I hear you. I mean, so for me, it was the opposite. Like, when I got into a funk, I would continue to try to hit balls to right field.
Mm-hmm.
And pitchers would pitch me in, and I would continue to try and hit balls to right field, and I would jam myself up and hit little nubbers back down.
Yeah.
But it became such a mental battle. It was, I would then try and change this in my swing, or I would try and change that in my swing, or I would back off the plate, and now I'm overthinking, am I in the right spot in the box?
Yeah.
And I'm not focused on the pitch itself. It is such a mind F.
Yeah.
This game is such
Baseball
a mind
funks
F.
are crazy.
If you are not going well, this game becomes 20 times harder.
Yeah.
And it's already a very difficult game.
Yeah.
So, like, I hear you, man. Like, I totally hear you. But we saw it last year with one of the best hitters that we've had a pleasure of watching in this city in a long time, with Nick Castellanos.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a mental game.
Yeah.
He just could not break it.
Yeah.
Like, he tried to make adjustments. He tried to do different things. Sometimes the mental aspect of the just overwhelms.
Yeah.
And I hate using
you're
that
not
as
wrong.
the out. I do. I hate using it as the out.
You're not wrong. I'm
But
not
it's
saying
why
that that's
some of
not
these-
a real thing.
It's why some of these guys never make it.
Yeah.
Like, I was having this conversation with the other dude I was golfing lunch at. And, you know, we were talking about baseball players and how, like, the 26th man on every roster is still a really good baseball player.
If he just rolled up to your men's league, he'd be Babe Ruth. Like,
Right.
that's how it goes.
Right. That's how good these guys are. But, like, they're not good on their team.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't want Josh Harrison playing.
Yeah.
I don't. But he's still, if he came and played over 30 ball, he'd be 3 for 3 with 3 bombs.
Yep.
And but the mental part of the game for these guys can overwhelm. And it's why some of the best players that, like, some of your top draft picks in the sport don't make it. They just don't make it because they get overwhelmed by the mental piece of it. And so again, I hear you, and I know, like, they have all this stuff at their disposal. They have all the video, they have all the coaching, they have everything.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, if you don't got it here, or if you're telling yourself something here, you ain't gonna be able to do it when you're in the box.
Yeah. No.
And I hate saying it, and I do, because I want these guys to succeed, and trust me, they want to succeed. They want to do well. But I think it's already difficult to get in the box. And I think that's part of what you're talking about, what's going on in the game today. Hitting a baseball is harder now than it's ever
Oh
been.
my God, yeah.
These dudes are all throwing 100 miles an hour.
Trout just talked about this in his interview with Foul Territory.
Did he?
Yeah. It was with Kratz and someone else. But he's like, look, man, the game's different. Like, he was asking Frazier, like, what the average velo was of the bullpen guys that would come out in a game.
Yeah.
And Frazier was like, I don't know, like 94 was like absolute gas. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, my boy Joyce is coming out throwing 104 out of the bullpen. And he's like, what do you want me to, like, what are we supposed to do about that? It's like, what do you want me to do, man?
So some of that, and some of it is like, you've got to remember, you're gearing up for 104.
and then he drops a 85 right slider or something else, and you
now
have to
you're-
somehow
now you're
adjust
out-
to it.
Now you're
right.
out in front of it,
Right.
And you are rolling over it
Because your
Like-
whole body is saying, "Be ready, be ready, be ready, ready." Crap.
Like I mean, I'm loading up. I'm loading up facing 78 every week. Like I'm loading up 10 minutes early. I'm loading up before he even gets the ball back.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, so I again, Regs, I totally hear you, and
It was.
I
Just,
get frustrated.
No, I get you. It was just a very
I text you.
old
I
man
text
take
you.
that like I just had. It was all I argued with myself in my own head for like 10 minutes about
I
it.
text you like immediately when JT rolls over. And here we
Yep,
go again.
Here we go.
But
again.
like I'm mad about it, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And you've probably seen the videos on Twitter. I might have sent you the videos on Twitter of what it looks like from like behind the plate when these dudes in college are throwing.
Oh
fine.
yeah.
Regs, I don't know how it's possible.
I don't know either.
If you gave me 100 chances to hit 105, I might tip one.
I was about to say
might.
you might nick one. Yeah.
I might tip one. I might go 1 for 100.
But the thing
on
is,
making a sound with my bat.
they're not straight either.
No, they're moving. That's
I
what
mean,
I mean.
it's absurd.
That's what I mean. Great conversation. This honestly, Regs, what show episode? Like what episode?
Yeah, this is 103.
Can I just say I think show 103 might be our best episode.
I love that.
I think it might be. With the opening and that conversation, I'm in.
Again,
And
I faced one MLB pitcher in my whole life, and it was Sean Doolittle. I faced him in high school, and I nicked a curveball, and I thought I won. I was like, I've accomplished everything I'm going to do in my high school career right now.
Yeah.
Because I foul tipped a curveball from a guy who was throwing like 92 in high school.
I faced 4 guys that either went D1 or were drafted. And I got hit by one. One struck me out. And I'd made contact all of him. He just threw me a really nasty hook, and he was a lefty, and it backdoored and froze me. I singled off a one to right field. So I did my little right field jobber. And one walked me. So I got on base 3 out of the 4 times.
See, you were a better baseball player than me. So
well,
that's fine.
one guy I got hit, Regs. So that shouldn't even count.
Like I said,
it still hurts.
I got a piece of it, and I looked at my whole bench with the biggest smile on my face. I was just like, I got a piece of one, boys.
Every time
I did
you
it.
watch Sean Doolittle, you must like love that.
I said I did it. I literally looked at my whole bench and was like, I'm good. Like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. He absolutely knee buckled me with the next pitch.
Yeah, he's nasty. He's nasty now. I mean, well, not now, but he was nasty.
Yeah.
Do you know my Todd Frazier story?
No, but I did play basketball against him.
So in Little League, I had this conversation with Andrea on vacation, and I sent you the video. You saw the video.
I did.
I was a really good pitcher when I was younger. When I was 12, the last like tournament that we played in for travel ball, my parents were away, and our coach threw me 20 innings in one day. Innings limit. Threw me 20 innings. He blew my arm out.
I was about to say that's too many.
I couldn't lift my arm.
Yeah.
Like my elbow still gets sore if I throw too much.
That's absurd.
But I was really, really good. So before that, like earlier in the year, we were playing like a regional tournament to like try and qualify for Little League World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And we faced that team.
Yeah.
Like that Tom's River.
Yep.
And he hit 2 absolute moonshots off of me. Like 2 balls so like watching him play throughout my was so cool. Cause I would say every time he came up, I don't care who was sitting around me. I don't care if I was at a bar with people I didn't know. I don't care if it was Andrea who hit times. I would say that dude hit moonshots off me too, as a matter.
That's right.
2 in 4 innings. The first one I thought was going to bring rain. The second one was just a P to dead center field. It was on the same plane.
Yeah, just the whole time.
The entire time.
Yep.
But they only scored 4 runs off him. They were both his home runs, both two-run home runs.
He was pretty good.
And yeah, he was a good major leaguer too.
Yeah.
Like he was a good player.
He was a good basketball player too, man.
Was he?
The rest of his team was terrible, but like that dude was he was legit. Yeah.
He's a good athlete.
He was
Yeah.
legit.
That was and honestly at that point you're 12, you don't really
Yeah, right.
But then you're watching the Little League World
Oh yeah.
back later in his career.
It was
like,
so cool to play him in basketball. I was like, that's him. The Little League World Series guy. Obviously, being from New Jersey, it was so cool to have a team from New Jersey win, you know?
Well, just know that he beat me on the way to that.
There you go.
Yeah, they beat us 4-0. He actually might have pitched that game too.
I don't doubt it. He probably was very good.
I think he pitched that game. I don't know if he even pitched. So whoever pitched shut us.
Yeah.
And we get shut out a whole lot. We had a lot of good players. Same group that I grew up with and ended up playing Legion. We won Legion county title, like went to states 2 or 3 times. Like we were a good team. Yeah. So, yep. But that's my story. My story. Regs, quick fixated.
All right, buddy.
For those of you out there that don't know this, Regsy and I get to see each other on Saturday.
Oh, so excited.
We are golfing. I will be playing 3 consecutive days. Played today. Went well. I'll play in a tournament tomorrow morning. And then Regs,
really
Banksy, and
after it.
Really going for it. I mean, Andrea's at a bachelorette this weekend.
Oh, yeah, see.
Yeah, you gotta live your life.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Regsy and I will be golfing with Banksy. Do we have a 4th? Is he bringing a 4th?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I'll have to ask him. I don't care if he does. Either way,
No.
It doesn't matter. But we've had this dream, the 3 of us, of getting me new clubs. And honestly, I think it's more your dreams than
this has been very much a Banks and I dream for you.
This is like, I feel like it's going to be a 2-way miss episode.
Yeah.
Because this has been such a conversation for over like 2 years now.
Yeah.
Banks has been dead set on getting me new clubs. He's like, dude, your game will change entirely. And you're like, dude, you would benefit so much from new clubs. And I'm just like playing with the same club since 2013. And I feel like I'm doing all right. Like, I feel like I'm doing well for these used clubs that I've been using. But we're going to do a fitting on Saturday after we play, which feels overwhelming to me.
But we have a plan for the round.
Yes,
we do. So you don't get burnt out.
So, but that's not even my fear. Like, yes, the plan for the round, let's start here. The fitting is an hour and a half because I'm getting a brand new set of clubs.
Yes.
Right?
Top to bottom.
So top to bottom. So I have to go and hit golf balls for an hour and a half.
Yes.
Which is just
it's going to be a lot of golf balls.
It is a lot of golf balls. Which is fine. That's fine. No, it's not. I'm very intimidated by this because I don't like playing in front of people I don't know. I feel like I'm not going to hit balls well, and they're going to be like, we can't fit you because you suck.
That's
so.
Yeah.
The other piece to this is that we're playing around beforehand, but Regs came up with a great plan. The plan is that I'm going to play like 9 full holes, and then I'm just going to hit from his and Banksy's ball the rest of the round to practice other shots.
Yep.
So I'm good with that. And I've even considered alternating holes throughout the
That's another good, that's a great way to do it.
Instead of doing 9 on and then nine off.
That way, that's holes. Great.
But I feel like this fitting is going to intimidate me and overwhelm. I'm not someone who gets like super intimidated by things, and I'm a pretty confident guy. But I'm intimidated by this process, and I'm also a little irked that I don't get my clubs when I Regs, you talk.
Okay. First of all, I'm so happy to be along for this journey. I can't describe it.
There's gonna be so many videos.
I can't wait. I'm so thrilled for you that like I'm almost more excited. I think
you guys are way more excited.
I think first of all, having me and him there will help your anxiety a lot.
No, Banks makes me nervous because he's so good.
Oh, well, see, that's just I've gotten over that. I literally, I spent a year and a half playing with him with the driver yips. Like, how do you think that feels? The way that dude hits the ball.
I had the driver yips last week with him.
But like, so I think you being able to like look back at us and you'll be fine.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is just how I feel about it, but I'm so full of happiness and jealousy at the same time. I can't describe it. Because I find this process to be so freaking cool. And like, dude, you get new golf clubs. Like, you get new golf clubs that are fit just for you. And then you like, I know it's going to take like a few weeks to get them, but like, then you get to use them. And then you get to use them for like a decade. Yeah. Like I've told you this, I went and got my irons from a Golf Galaxy. So it's a very slim down fitting process. Like they give you loft and lie, they give you that kind of stuff, but it's because you're spending money with them and the guy spends 20 minutes with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just for the irons. Like I haven't had a fitted driver. I buy my own putters. My wedges are probably all kinds of not right for what my swing is. But it's like, I'm just so happy for you. I'm just so excited for you.
So here's the goal. We're going for full bag.
Yes.
But I'm absolutely getting all new irons.
Yes.
I'm gonna get woods.
Yes.
And I need driver.
You need a new driver.
Because were you with me when my driver like has the crack in it?
The Nike one?
Yeah.
No.
I noticed. No, you know what? I noticed it with Banksy.
Okay.
And he was like, "Yeah, that's not like he's like that's not a just a look crack.
Yeah, right.
Like that's gonna affect your That's gonna affect your play quite a bit.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to fit for a driver now too, which is gonna be pricey.
I just think you're gonna have when he starts like handing you different clubs. Some aren't gonna feel good, but when you find the ones that you're like, holy shit, like what was that? I'm picturing you turning back to Banks and I and the smile that's going to be on your face.
Yeah.
And Banks and I are going to know immediately what that smile is. And we're just going to be like proud. Like, we're just going to be so proud.
Yeah. Like proud older brothers.
We're just going to be so proud.
I mean, I look forward to watching all the videos back take of this whole experience because I mean, at the end of the day, I do get new clubs and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to have new
It's
clubs.
a dream. I'm so jealous.
I just the process itself has me a little overwhelmed. Like when I signed up for I can't believe I'm doing this.
We got a great plan for the round.
We do.
We're gonna have a couple or have a few drinks.
Yeah.
You'll be loose. You'll be loose. You won't be tired. You will be ready for the process. You will have immense support from two of your best friends.
You're right.
And then we are just going to keep the vibe so high because we're going to be so excited for you. It's going to be the best.
Can we just play Dancing on My Own the entire?
Sure. We'll probably be the only people in there, so why not? What do they care?
That's very true.
What do they care?
True. The other good thing is even though I'm playing a lot of like I played today and I played like right like I played my own shot the whole time. Tomorrow's a scramble. Yep. So like
again that helps. Very less stressful. Yep.
Yeah. And then Saturday I will play like a hole, then I'll just hit your balls and then go from there. And
couple chips around the green, a couple putts.
Yep. Just hit
a few wedges from Banks's drives that are 400 yards down the fairway.
On a par 5.
Let's make a prediction right now. How many of my balls do you hit from on these alternate holes that aren't fair Banks's?
If I'm playing 9 holes myself.
Yep.
How many of your shots do I hit?
From the other 9.
All right, let's put it at a number.
Let's do an over under.
Okay.
A ridiculous over under is 2.5.
I was gonna say it's 2.5 fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course it is. I have no like ego about this.
All right, 2.5 shots that I will take of yours off of the tee.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's where you would go from, right?
Well, on a par 5, maybe not.
Yeah, that's true. You could take the second shot. Yeah.
I might hit your third shots. So
okay, That gives me a better chance.
Does that up the number? Do we go to 3.5?
No, I think 2.5 is still still good. He's still a lot better golfer than I am, so there's a good chance that even the second ones are better.
Okay, 2.5. 2.5.
It's going to be under. I mean, we can just be honest with ourselves. It's going to
be. Listen.
I feel I can't describe to you how playing golf with you that other week gave me so much confidence in my golf game. Like I can't even speak to it. No. Just how I hit it.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been hitting it like garbage.
And I told Banksy that. He was very proud of you.
For 2 years I've been hitting it like garbage. Like couldn't even get my iron shots to go in the air.
Yeah, Banksy was super proud of you, man.
So I'm super excited to get back out there.
Yeah.
And hit him again.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good day. And we'll let y'all know how it goes next week.
If I hit the over, I'm going to tweet about it. So just watch out for that.
I mean, listen, we will tweet it up and down.
There's going to be some videos coming out. Yeah.
Many videos and then videos of this because this show was awesome. This show, I'm gonna tweet the fitting video on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But the opener to this is going up tomorrow. I'm cutting it up and posting it tomorrow.
I think the fitting could be its own YouTube video.
It could be.
And you're absolutely coming on the next two-way miss, and we're talking about the entire process. So clear your schedule for next Wednesday.
I mean, I'm going to be at a hotel next Wednesday, so that works out really well.
Fantastic. This is what we're doing.
I will be ready to go from the Hilton, from the Hilton in Philadelphia.
There you go.
I will be ready to rock.
That is what we're doing on Wednesday.
That sounds good. We will have the conversation about I cannot wait for that.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Well, everybody, thanks for sticking with us because this episode is my new.
We missed each other. We haven't talked and we haven't done a podcast in a week and a half.
It's been a minute, but this was a fun one. And if you enjoyed it as much as we did, make sure you click subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube below, click subscribe. Leave a comment or two. We'll get back to you. Make sure that you go to wherever you get your podcasts and click, subscribe and rate us, please. We need ratings so that we can get up into other people's, queues and maybe grow this thing even further. While you're at it, follow Regsy Boo and myself on social podcast platform. Start with the platform on Instagram at B&B Podcast. You can follow that on Twitter. Follow at Phixated Pod on Twitter as well, at the Mic Drop 5, and then at Regs with a Z. You can also follow us on the Phixated fan page, and make sure you click the merchandise link in the show description. Otherwise, y'all, we will talk to you this weekend, Saturday. Keep checking Twitter and check YouTube as well, because there's a damn good chance that you're going to get updates, not just on my fit, but on whether or not I use 3 of Reg's shots on the 9 holes. I think Banks' ego might be hurt a little.
We're going to tell him about this, and I'm sure it's going to make him hit it harder, but maybe that throws him offline a little bit. Maybe I got a chance.
Listen, there were some holes where he did not hit it and ended up in, and I might use your shot.
I'm looking forward to it.
I might use your shot. Until then, y'all, make sure you are good to yourself, be good to others, be kind, take care of yourselves, and we will talk to you this weekend and next week. In the meantime, go Phils and pray for me.
Go Phils, baby. You're going to do great.
Oh, my God. Deep to right field. Way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.